are there to work and help the oil and gas companies. And I asked him, who's there for the people? And he told me, nobody, call an attorney. That's what they told me.
Oil and Gas Commission is aware of the situation and will probably be doing some additional testing in the area as soon as possible.
Well, the bottom line is, whose responsibility is it to take care of this problem?
They're really going to have to look a little deeper into this because it does seem to be more widespread than we thought.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very scary. Okay. All right, Heidi, thanks.
Let's clear this up. I'm not here under the authority of EPA speaking on behalf of views that agency represents.
I will put Weston Wilson not speaking on behalf of the EPA, although he works for the EPA.
In 2004, the EPA was investigating a water contamination incident due to hydraulic fracturing in Alabama, but a panel rejected the inquiry, stating that although hazardous materials were being injected underground, EPA did not need to investigate. Weston Wilson, a 20-year veteran of the EPA, wrote a letter to Congress objecting. He also noted that on the peer review panel that authored the report, 5 of 7 members appeared to have conflicts of interest and would benefit from the EPA's decision not to conduct a further investigation.
They came out with a patently ridiculous conclusion. They had showed it was toxic and then said it wasn't a risk. It made no sense, and only in an Orwellian world would you accept that.
From 1995 until 2000, when he became vice president, Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton. One of the first things he did when he became vice president was to form what was known as the Energy Task Force. They met up to 40 times with industry leaders. They only met once with members from environmental groups. The Energy Task Force and a $100 million lobbying effort on behalf of the industry were significant in the passage of what's called the Halliburton loophole to the Safe Drinking Water Act, which authorizes oil and gas drillers exclusively to inject known hazardous materials unchecked directly into or adjacent to underground drinking water supplies. It passed as a part of the Bush administration's Energy Policy Act of 2005.
So all science at that point stopped?
All science, all data, everything stopped. We were appalled about burying this kind of, maybe no pun intended, but burying this secret that it was known to be toxic. You know, when the president says to its bureaucracy, don't investigate, expedite things for industry, we do those jobs well, too. One could characterize this entire industry as having 100 years of history of purchasing those they contaminate. So they purchase the land, and often with an agreement of secrecy of somebody that's alleging they've been contaminated by oil and gas production. So the industry itself has that type of practice.
You're saying it's the industry itself should be proving it and not the people.
This is America. We shouldn't be assuming that corporations can keep a secret, especially when they're practicing in our backyard. So the onus should be on the industry to prove to the government that their practice is benign, and not that assumption. What you could be picking up from these citizens is what we should be investigating, but we're not. We're still asleep at the wheel. And don't assume since Obama got elected that something's changed at the EPA yet in that regard. Even if it weren't true, they deserve an investigation. They're citizens of the United States. And they certainly don't deserve to be exposed to secret chemicals. It's not America. So I understand your question and your frustration, and you're seeing how this may be a pattern repeating itself. But so far, we're not on duty. We're not present as a government agency to answer your legitimate questions, and we must be directed to.
glycol ethers. It says extreme danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Extreme health hazard.
Yeah. Almost like having a loaded gun in your hand there, standing there, isn't it?
And then you can zoom in. I'm going to take this nice and slow.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Jeff and Rhonda Locker, they've been living here for at least 30 years. But at some point in the late 90s, there was a gas company re-stimulating a well out behind their house. Rhonda was out doing the wash, and the wash went black. They knew they had a small problem with the water. And there isn't a laundromat for miles.
All of a sudden the washing machine plugged up, and the water that came out and flooded the back where the washing machine was pure black, complete black. And of course at that time I went out and stopped the pumper when he came through the yard and asked him what he'd done to our water, and he says, well, we didn't do anything to it. In pursuing it further, I finally got water samples, and that's when we found out the water was totally unfit for consumption.
That fast.
Yeah, it was just immediate.
Just about right for a cool day. Now, we'll get you out of there. Come on.
The Lockers threatened the gas company with a lawsuit. They settled for $21,000 to put in a reverse osmosis filtration system.
This is the well that was on the property when we bought it. We're still using it, but it's the one that went bad.
Jeff and Rhonda Locker had to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
The day that I signed it, I even said to him, I just want you to know I may sign this, but if anyone asks me, I will not lie.
Now, they're so frustrated that they're breaking their silence.
This is our system. It pumps out of there, it pumps through the softener, it pumps through there, and it fills this 500-gallon tank. It's just a centrifugal pump. It goes through a real fine, I call it a filter, it's more like a membrane. We were actually drinking it for a while. But 4.5 years ago, Rhonda got really sick with extreme neuropathy and is in a lot of pain. She just faded fast and had the bone pain, and she's been through spinal taps and everything to try to find a cause.
Jeff and Rhonda Locker found out that a reverse osmosis unit won't filter out glycol ethers. Glycol ethers eat the membranes inside of the filters.
We don't drink it anymore. And we haul our water, and we...
Tell me about hauling water. Where are you getting it from, and how does it work?
Walmart.
Buy it.
Like Jeff and Rhonda Locker, after a nearby frack job, Lewis Meek's water went bad. Started smelling like gas.
See, 2004, they drilled this well right over here. I don't know if you can see it from here. It's 5.
Numerous water tests turned up various forms of hydrocarbons and glycol ethers. In Canada, the company doing the fracking claimed no responsibility. With his back against the wall, Lewis had no alternative but to try to drill a new water well on his property.
From 180, 160, you could smell gas. And he went in there, and we got to 240. And when we put that joint on and started to try to blow it out, well, it came at us.
Natural gas exploded out of Lewis Meeks' water well for over 3 days. The Department of Homeland Security reported that over 3 million cubic feet of natural gas escaped into the atmosphere. Lewis had to get an injunction from a judge to get in Canada to cement the well to stop the flow and to provide him with a replacement water source. The big green building next to Lewis's house contains 2 cisterns that Encana fills up twice a week.
I can show you the water.
So these are 2 big water tanks that they're filling up for you. Why are they bringing it?
Tell me. If nothing's wrong, why are they bringing it?
So you actually hired a hydrogeologist to figure out what was going on around here.
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said that they got everything intermingled. When they do anything like frack it, they're going to intermingle everything.
You can already see you're going to see little pearls of stuff come out of it, like oil. I just already saw one over here.
And the water that comes out of Lewis Meek's original well is only good for some bizarre science experiments and brain-altering recreational activities.
Oh, man. Tell me you drink that.
No way.
Tell me there ain't nothing wrong with this water.
It smelled like turpentine. That chemical smell that goes straight to your head and gets you dizzy